She said, what am I going to do with him? Teenager. I knew I saw him. Yes, he had a that's my favorite.
any valued colleague in the department retires, it's bound to be a mixture of a sad occasion, a difficult occasion for the department managing without that person, and a hopeful, optimistic occasion for all the things that person's going to do in the future. When a dean, a chairman of a department's finance committee, the developer of its building sciences laboratories, and the corporate memory of the department all retire together, it's bound to have an effect on those that are left to attempt to carry on. Derrick joined the Department of Architecture right back at the beginning, when the department was forming, when its directions were being set. And the fact that the School of Architecture at Adelaide has a strong nationally and internationally recognised position in the building sciences, I think is entirely due to Derrick's setting of the direction in those early days, when things could have gone in all sorts of ways, and the appointment of Derrick and his strength in building engineering allowed it to develop this position, this strength in the building sciences. I'm told that Rolf Jensen, the first professor of architecture, was very proud of his building science department. The fact that unlike the University of Sydney, which had the first separate department of architectural science in Australia, the building science at Adelaide was fully integrated with the rest of the department. So Derrick's first claim to fame, to significance in the history of this group must be in developing, nurturing, strengthening the building science laboratories. As an architect, I'd like to commend him on doing it with considerable flair in a design sense as well as an engineering science sense. The best room in the Department of Architecture is still the acoustics lab, put together by Derrick. Beautiful furniture, wonderful 1960s Danish acoustics equipment. It never ceases to function, and I'm told that it's so robustly built it never will cease to function. We'll use the decorative elements on the shelves at the upper level. All these beautiful little knobs and subtle colours and wonderful dials. And also ergonomically, put together with a sense for ergonomics and colour and as well as function. So Derrick is someone who takes building science and engineering seriously, but is also very sympathetic to the other aspirations of architects and architecture students, has played a very important role in the department and in those students who have passed through the department. It's also been well known to those students as a friend. I think Derrick's willingness to spend time with people, to listen to their problems, to attempt to sort out their problems. In fact, at times I wonder or feel that Derrick is never happier when solved with insoluble problems that no one else really wants to tackle. That's when Derrick really gets going, gets his energy together, and makes use of all his innumerable contacts in the university and elsewhere. How would we manage without that? But there's generations of students who owe a lot to his personal assistance and help, as well as his teaching. I first really remember Derrick at a conference on design when he gave his now celebrated lecture talk on the acoustics of concert halls in which the roof inverts in a rather special way. I remember it because I only remember two papers from that conference, his and mine. I suspect his was the better one. At least it's one which not only I, but other people I speak to in the building sciences remember from the strength of the point it makes, and perhaps his ability to make points well and to make important points well is one of his strengths. In recent years, He's served the department as head of department and currently as dean, and he's served it well in those positions with a willingness to take a long and painstaking, detailed analysis of positions and options and so forth, and to really consider, get deeply into matters. And I personally owe him a debt of thanks for his advice to me over the last 4 years. His advice to me right from the beginning of taking up my position here. In the time span of the department, that Derrick's been here is a relatively small portion, but I have valued that, and I'm sure my predecessors as professors of architecture valued his support and assistance. And to get from the bad bit to the good bit, I'm confidently not expecting Derrick to disappear. I think his corporate memory is going to be available to us for some time to come, and that we can attract him to stay in the department, to stay active with his connections with the International Illumination Society, with the body of work internationally in building science, and with his willingness to provide us with good advice. So thank you, Derrick, on behalf of the department, for your work for it so far, and we look forward to your contribution to the department's future work. I'd like to present you with both a card and, if I can find it, a piece of wrapping paper, and invite you, maybe, if you wish, to say a few words. Thank you, Derrick. Before I ask Derrick to actually say the words, I'd like to propose a toast, please.
To the long retirement of Derrick Kendrick.
That's a good one, Al. To Derrick Kendrick, his future, his long retirement, or perhaps his long non-retirement, because I don't think Derrick will ever really retire. To Derrick.
To Derrick.
Those of you that know me would not expect me to be without a carrier bag.
What's in the bag, Derrick?
Good looking bag.
Carrier bags. Thank you very much, Tony. I got to do it this way because Diana Ayres, the departmental secretary, said that she thought I would like this kind of function to be formal. So I'll do it formally. Professor Radford, members of staff of the Department of Architecture and the University, my family, my friends, and especially one from interstate, thank you very much for coming here this evening to share this special occasion with me. So as Diana said that I should start that way, I thought I'd better because she's the boss. And I can now lapse later into the informal. But before doing so, I'd like to thank Diana, Tanya, Sue Colica, and Tony for setting up and organizing this function. It is very much appreciated by me and by my family. Indeed, I would also like to say that I've been a very lucky person to have been associated with such a happy and friendly group of people as the staff of the Department of Architecture and the various members of the rest of the university with whom one makes contact in day-to-day work. I think this is a situation where one can only say one is lucky. Now, in spite of all the problems that are facing the university and the society in general, I indeed believe that we are very lucky people to be doing the things that we enjoy doing. Now, truly, I don't care for occasions like this, Albert advised me to ad-lib. I can't ad-lib in this kind of situation. I think you all know that. I ad-lib in other situations, not this. It's celebrating something I don't want to do. I don't want to retire. But it happens to...
Go fishing there.
Thank you, Albert. I will. It happens to everyone sometime. So I suppose in reality it's a clever plot to get rid of the elderly by making a ceremonial occasion out of retirement, and now it's my turn. Frank O'Neill, the registrar, the ogre, said that I didn't qualify under the New Age legislation, which comes into force on the 1st of July 1993, and he would not entertain applying the spirit of the intention of the legislation in my case. Ah well, if you've got to go, you've got to go.
You're going to come, you're going to come.
As you might imagine, I've had some trouble in preparing this speech. I've received several comments from colleagues which are intended to be helpful, but which only serve to complicate matters. So we all have a different thing. But thank you all the same for trying. Doris, my wife, and she's a really super wife, said, make it short and sweet like a donkey's gallop. But most of you are not old enough to understand what she means by that. And you'll spend all night trying to work it out and not hear the rest of this presentation. So don't worry about that. Doris will explain it to you afterwards if you don't work it out. I was talking to a good friend the other day, and I said to her, I don't really feel like retiring. It's an alien concept to me. In truth, I'm being forced by contract and convention to stop doing the things I enjoy. Yes, I was told. To some people, it's like a bereavement, and you're grieving. Now, that's pretty sad and emotional stuff. And while I do feel emotional about an enforced break, I understand that the department doesn't really wish me to go, as Tony has said. And so they got up a petition. It's called the Derrick and Zig Townscape Petition. The department wants us to be preserved as part of the architectural environment. Thank you for that marvelous gesture. I hope you're successful. But the question arises, what are you going to do with your so-called retirement? Having gradually adjusted, rather slowly I'm afraid, to the concept in recent weeks, I can tell you that last week I booked the air tickets to London and Paris. There is an international daylighting conference in Edinburgh before Easter, and that'll be followed by a holiday in Scotland, the east side of England with places like Durham, York, Ripon, Fountain Abbey.
Windsor Castle.
No, that's not the east of England. The geography is terrible. Lincoln, Ely, Norwich, and so on. And hopefully, a long desired wish, I want to visit Brittany. I think I can get back to my roots there somewhere in Stonehenge and the equivalent in France.
Roots are beautiful.
Whilst in the United Kingdom, at Chester, which is my hometown, I shall do some more digging into the family tree. I shall also gather some more material for the Dresler book from the Public Record Office at Kew. And naturally, I'll catch up on current developments in the lighting field generally, and return to Adelaide sometime in the spring and commence some daylight variability research. I'll no doubt continue producing faculty newsletters if the new dean will provide the funds for this, and I will continue in assisting in the development of the alumni chapter, which is formed this year, and I think that's an important thing to do. So I guess I'll be quite busy, and thus you will not be getting rid of me at all. I'll still be around the place. Really though, on an occasion like this, it's time for reflection. What has happened, and what have you achieved? When I arrived in Adelaide on the 1st of September 1958, black and white television had not become established. A block of land at Christie's Beach cost £350. Nobody had set foot on the moon. Indeed, the rockets hadn't yet penetrated the atmosphere. The word environment was a strange and unfamiliar word. I introduced it into my teaching. What's that mean, sir? Because they said so in those days. I said it means surroundings. That was all we knew. That's all the dictionary said. ergonomics hadn't arrived. It didn't arrive until 1963 in this university. And the building science field was virtually non-existent in departments of architecture anywhere in the world, except for similar developments in the University of Sydney. Now, Tony has mentioned his view of some of my successes and achievements, and I thank him for those kind words. But I have my own view of my achievements. So let me tell you a little about my view of my real achievements. This year, 1992, in spite of the fact that Simon Coppins, and he's the computer expert in the department, did not and would not provide me with a manual for my first computer, I have, in spite of that, mastered the intricacies. So the dinosaur is now on the way to computer literacy, and that's quite an achievement. Then you must take my office. Who can claim to have a famous office like mine? An office which has, as some of you know, both an archaeological filing system, that's by layers on the table, and a Dutch, sorry Albert, or an Irish, sorry Deborah, a Dutch or Irish filing system for the top layer, where the simple principle is, if the paper floats up to the top, you attend to it, and if it doesn't, you don't have to. Now that's quite an inventive system. It's an achievement, really. It's the way in which I've survived in this university. But the thing is, everything can always be found. That challenge has held for 34 years and 3 months, and I've given everybody 5 minutes. If I can't find it in 5 minutes, they can be rude. Nobody has been reasonably rude. They are environmentally friendly, Deborah is satisfied. Although I'm afraid that dear Judith didn't care for them. And then 2 weeks ago, Sue Caldecott wouldn't walk with me across the plaza because I was carrying a plastic bag. Now, I didn't really understand that. What's wrong with carrying a plastic bag? In recent years, I've been contemplating a possible retirement activity, developing a business called personalized plastic carrier bags. But it's necessary, first of all, to remove this cultural prejudice which everyone seems to have. And look, I brought out some of the illustrative material to show you the possibilities. Now, one has plain ones, green ones, striped ones, target, and blue ones, and so on. I can also find that there are spotted ones. And if one goes deeper, you can find quite architectural colours, dark ones. Express dairy freshness. Now, what's wrong with that? Silver ones boost your savings.
Where's the Harrods one?
That's coming. Celebrate, it says. Katie, that's where that came from. Celebrate again. The standard one comes from Sainsbury's. Anybody on study leave? Sainsbury's? This one I thought was appropriate. And of course, the more sophisticated, heavy-duty ones, Harrods.
But that's not why I have a pull string. The real ones have a
So, but enough of my trade commercial for my new business activity, and back to sum up my achievements. I heard your voice, Deborah, and I reckon Deborah is the keystone of my second top greatest achievement. She used to shout at me for my gender-biased statements and my misuse of the English language. She still does. But now it is said with a kind of softness, kindness, and appreciation.
I just got older.
You see, she's begun to appreciate that I have allowed her an outlet in public. And other members of the community have learned much from me allowing her to castigate me in public. We are a good team, Deborah and I. Thank you, Deborah. No. But what is my finest achievement? Most of you should know the answer to that question. I know you all know that in recent years I've been practicing my joke telling. And that I have in fact achieved the ultimate in perfection. And I know that you're all looking forward to one more joke from the master. So I won't disappoint you. Indeed, the folks from the Illuminating Engineering Society believe that the J initial in my name stands for Joker. So here goes with my latest joke. I think I can still sneak this one in before the racist laws apply, and I hope that those people who come from a country across the sea from England don't get too offended. This is called the Irish space rocket joke. I didn't really know how to handle this, so I brought this tea bag as a prop. Deborah? Okay?
I'm not a tea bag. I'm giving it up.
Drink.
One bag.
Allow me to have a drink, Derek.
That tea bag represents the Irish space rocket. Now, as happens in many situations, even in the University of Adelaide, there are constraints on finances. And the Irish space rocket team were told to turn up to the accountant and to explain why they wanted all this money, and the accountant was going to explain why they couldn't have all this money. So the result was, at the first meeting, the accountant said, well, you've got to cut out so many thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. And so the Irish space rocket scientists decided that they'd cut out the computer program. That's not enough. You've got to cut something else out on this. Why not cut out the electrics? Cut out the electrics? How are we going to start it? Well, that's your problem. Cut out the electrics. How are we going to start it? Use matches. Okay. The budget's still over the top. You've got to cut again. But what can we cut? Well, why don't you consider cutting that heavy fuel? What, cut the heavy fuel? Yes, cut the heavy fuel. It takes time to cut the heavy fuel. We now have something which seems to be within budget if the damn thing will work. One rocket. Shall we now attempt to fire the rocket? now, finally, as members of the Department of Architecture know, no function in the Department of Architecture is complete without Derrick produces his attention-seeking trick. So I'm now about to do that. You've been kind to me over the years. I'm going to be kind to you. Pair of scissors here. Enjoy the sweeties. I must obey.
You were over time.
He said 5 minutes. It's 17.5.
I said I doubled it. I had to have that boring stuff at the beginning to set up the end.
Just a plastic bag inside.
Thank you, Derek. I understand he discovered the physics of teabag flight 33 years ago during Science Lab and has been saving it ever since. With respect to the allusion to current timescape issues in Adelaide, I trust that both Derek and Zig will be labelled contributory items and not just heritage items. Thanks, Derek. A wonderful talk, which we, like that lecture, which I remember so well, we'll continue to remember this one. Thank you.